What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the No Gimmicks podcast here on the DFPN. Shout out to the patrons. Thank you for being subscribers to the Patreon. This show is live on Patreon. If you are not watching this show, if you are listening on the airways, if you are listening to this podcast, please do yourself a favor. Go to www.patreon.com/datfilmpodcast. Join in on all the fun for as little as $3. We did a Rampage watching this past weekend, or I did a Rampage watching this past weekend. Rampage was actually pretty good this past week. So perks like that, you can come join over, leave your comments. Interact on all the live shows because all the shows are live on Patreon and then they come out a day or two after. So if you want to be a part of the live show, come subscribe. Dat Feelin Patreon. There's the link. Also on the music side, we do have the full catalog of Dat Feelin over at the Bandcamp. So go to datfeelin.bandcamp.com. Again, same deal. Subscribe for as little as $3 to get the entire Dat Feelin catalog. And Frank D is rocking some merch. I have some merch on the way, some brand new merch that we're going to be dropping. So to get some of that merch, go to teespring.com, search for Dat Feelin Podcast, and get your gear, rock it, take pictures with it. There might be something in store with it. So, Fabulous Frankie D, you have a smile on your face. What are you smiling about?
Hey, man, what's up with you?
What's up?
Like shit, just chilling, looking for some Jello.
Jello, huh?
Yeah.
Jello.
Okay. Nah, man, it's all gravy over here. You know what I'm saying? Too sweet right here. You know what I'm saying, Antonio? You know what I'm saying? Just just kicking it, chilling. You know what I'm saying? Relaxing, coasting.
Nice.
You feel me?
San Antonio. Speaking of San Antonio, we have an event that we are sponsoring. Edge of Glory, Mission Pro Wrestling, April 22nd. Misty Marks versus the Dream Girl Ellie, who's also on AEW Dark right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Dream Girl Ellie versus Misty Marks, April 22nd. That match is being sponsored by No Gimmicks. The front row is sold out. The second row is almost sold out. The general assembly is sold out. And this looks like it's going to be a good event, man.
So basically what you're saying here in public is that Mission Pro Wrestling Edge of Glory is about to sell out.
It's about to sell out.
And Missy Marks is helping sell it out.
Yep.
And that's what it is. Because
the champion.
Marks, the champ, Missy Marks, she's the bad one, you feel me?
Yep.
And she's going to be the most talked about female superstar coming up in wrestling. I guarantee you in the next 5 years.
Yes.
This girl, she gonna be that one, trust me. So
yes.
Remember that name right now. You're hearing it right here on No Gimmicks.
Misty Marks.
From the Dog Pound Dojo to the WWE or AEW. That's where she's going to head up. Watch.
I agree. So, that being said, Edge of Glory, make sure you tune into it. All right. AEW is rumored to have coming out with a new show called AEW Collision.
Yep.
It's going to be a Saturday show. They haven't really, I don't think they've announced the network yet.
I believe it's TNT.
TNT?
Yeah.
I was hoping it would have been TBS, just for nostalgia purposes.
Yeah, I feel you. But it's going to be TNT from what it's been reported out there. And first of all, let me say that I don't like the name Collision.
I don't like it either.
Really shows me that all the good names for wrestling shows are copyrighted and trademarked by the WWE. They have all the cool names. So you don't have anything like, WWE Saturday Night or, WWE Pro Wrestling or the main event or something like that. Well, WWE has the main event, but you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
The names are kind of hokey. TNA has some real cool names too, but obviously that's their stuff they locked up. So I mean, Collision, whatever. I mean, it is what it is.
Now, we'll get to the premise of the show because there's a person rumored to be involved in that show and why that show is going to be what it's going to be.
Heavily involved.
Yeah. What I hoped for this show is you make a 2-hour show because it's rumored to be 2 hours. So you're going to have another 2-hour show on top of Rampage, on top of Dynamite, that's going to be on a Saturday. Now, if last Saturday was any indication, because Rampage was on a Saturday, this may be pretty good. So, because Rampage's ratings for that show that they did were high as shit. This is probably
they had an NBA lead in, but go ahead.
Yeah, they did. It helped. And this time of year may actually help them a lot, especially with Rampage coming after those games. So
let me say this real quick before you get into your soliloquy.
Go ahead.
So, if you're gonna have the new show coming on, TNT, the Collision show, why not move Rampage if it's possible? Why not move Rampage to an entirely different time slot? Why not move Rampage to TBS 6:05 Saturdays?
This is what I was going to get to.
But if you do that, then that's kind of defeating because you have a Saturday night show on TNT. So that's
right.
Why not have? Okay. Let me put it like this. So the problem that they run into, and this is the problem that WCW had back in the day, and this is where Nitro was created off of, is because if you looked at what was going on at the time, you had the WCW Saturday night show, Saturday nights 305 Pacific on the West Coast, 605 Eastern. Yep. So then you had and then you had Monday Night Raw unopposed on Monday nights.
Yep.
There was no direct competition there. And what I'm getting at here is that you have one show on one day, one show on the other day, and how do you compete that way? Like, there's no way to compete here. So if you take,
they trying to compete? Because this move tells me they're not trying to compete.
They're not trying to compete, but at the same time, a Saturday night time slot, okay, it's not the best time slot. Honestly, it's not.
It's not.
It's the death zone. Now, to me, the obvious time slot would have been Thursday, but they have Dynamite on Wednesday. Thursday would have been the perfect time slot because Impact back in the day, Impact was on Thursday nights, and they pulled pretty good numbers for Spike.
Impact is still on Thursday nights. They're just on Access, and nobody really.
Well, I'm talking about the real Impact. I'm talking about TNA.
Yeah,
the real team. Not this shit they got going on now. I'm talking about
actually. Before you go on, I would venture to say the shit that they got going on in Impact right now is probably some of the best storytelling that's out right now in any promotion.
Oh, I'm so damn happy to hear that. But anyways,
across the board. But nothing's beating the Bloodline. But other than that, TNA has the best
I don't know because Bloodline to me is kind of cooling off a little bit.
It is, but
it's tapering off. But they're still telling the story.
Yeah, but overall, TNA has some shit that and Nick Aldis just showed back up in TNA too. So
I saw that. That was actually a good move.
Yeah, that was a good get.
But what I'm getting at is that was a problem that Bischoff ran into back in the day. Mm-hmm. Is that he had the Saturday show. The Saturday show wasn't really drawing what they wanted to draw. I mean, it did good, but it wasn't doing the numbers that Monday Night Raw was doing. So that's kind of the situation that they're in right now. Was in reality, do you really need Rampage at this point? Do you need Rampage? Can we sacrifice Rampage for just a Friday night show at 8:00?
If
But
you're
if you
gonna
do
do
that,
that,
you're directly going against SmackDown.
exactly.
I get that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, is it really going to hurt you?
That's a gamble because SmackDown's the A show.
It is. I mean, it's the A show when Roman's on it.
Yeah.
But most weeks SmackDown sucks. I'm just going to admit it. It does. It's a shit show. It's a show full of rematches, and the stories don't go anywhere. Raw is the A show. SmackDown is not the A show. SmackDown is the B show. Raw is the A show. That is the flagship show
financially.
for WWE.
Yes,
it is the flagship show for WWE.
Yeah, you're right.
Financially, no. Financially, I think they were getting a little bit more money on Fox for SmackDown. That was $1 billion deal.
Are you? Yeah, true. But you got 3 hours over on Raw still, and that revenue adds up with the ads. So how close is that?
I have to take a look at the financials, but I just know the hierarchy in the WWE, the way they see fit. Raw is the A show, is the flagship show. It always has been, always will be. Yeah, that's Vince's baby. That's just what it is. SmackDown doesn't matter if Roman can be on SmackDown every damn week. Doesn't matter. SmackDown will always be the B show in the eyes of Vince and always be the B show in the eyes of WWE. That's why they don't put a lot into SmackDown. If you notice, SmackDown is on majority week. SmackDown is carried by a lot more wrestling and less storyline development. Storyline development don't happen until really Raw. If you want to look at the situation, that's when they do a lot more of the stories of it. SmackDown is just matches, really. It's matches here with little stories here and there.
I get what you're saying. They do set up a lot from Monday to Friday. They do that.
And my thing is that what they're talking about here with this AEW Collision show is that it's supposed to be supposedly a soft brand split, because we might as well just go out right now and just talk about it. The main culprit, character that's going to be on the show supposedly is CM Punk.
Right.
And he wants to come back, and I guess they're going to do some kind of a meeting between him and Chris Jericho or whatever to see if they can work together. I guess Jericho wants to be his first feud when he comes in, so you already know the promos are going to be fire on that one, because everybody knows the personal situation, and Jericho and Punk are going to eat this shit up. That's what they're going to do. They're going to draw. And let me tell you something. This right here. For this, I don't like the name of the show. I think the time slot sucks. But I actually am in favor of this, because now we're going to see who's the draw. You take Jericho. You take Jericho. You got Punk. You got split this shit up. You put half the crew over here, half the Dynamite crew. The Elite, right? The Elite said, supposedly they don't want to work with Punk. All right, let's see if the Elite are actual draws now. Let's take away all these other different elements over here. We're going to put these guys over here on the Saturday show, and let's see who draws.
I like that idea, though. I like that idea. I do. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's gonna be and let's not even worry about the WWE. Let's worry about ourselves. Let's worry about competing with ourselves.
Bro, that's fire though.
Yeah.
that's fire.
And I would say let's have two different squads. I would have two different teams working on these shows. I mean, Tony Khan could be the end all be all, but dude, go out and go get Delirious and have Delirious running the Saturday show. They can do whatever the hell they want to do on Wednesdays, but the Saturday show has got to look different. It's got to feel different. It has to be a completely different presentation.
Yeah.
When you watch this show, you have to say, this is something, I'm watching a completely different AEW than what I'm seeing on Wednesday. I don't want to have it where I watch Raw on Monday and then I'm watching SmackDown on Friday, and the only difference between the two shows is, the LED screens say SmackDown or they say Raw.
Yeah.
The visuals, it's got to be completely different. Yeah. Like WCW had with Thunder. And when you watch Thunder, Thunder looked completely different from Nitro.
Just
like SmackDown looked completely different from Raw back in the day.
Yep.
AEW they have to do that. And I think with Punk and let this show be a more, since it's Saturday nights, be a more aggressive style of basically take the good points of the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era and put them together.
In that one show.
And you'll see with Punk on this show, with Jericho on this show, with Hobbs on this show, with Ricky Starks on this show, and a bunch of other guys that they're not using. Bear Country, all these different casts that they got on Dark. I saw on Dark a little while ago, the Captain Shine Dean, it was another guy. They were a tag team.
Tag team. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Put them motherfuckers on this show.
Yeah.
Because I liked what I saw on Dark. Sky Blue.
Yep.
Get that big booty on fucking. You know what I'm saying? Put her ass on that show.
Yes, I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Agree.
Put Abaddon on that show.
Yes.
Split the so basically you have Jade Cargill, the TBS champion, stays on Dynamite. The TBS champion stays on Dynamite.
That's the only aspect I'm really worried about is how are they gonna split these titles? Because there has to be a champion on that show. I am in favor of Jade Cargill being on that show. I am.
I think that you have the AEW championship, obviously. The main title for Collision, the TNT title.
If it's on TNT, yes.
You make that, you bring that belt up and say, okay, this championship is now the AEW TNT heavyweight championship.
Okay. I would be in favor of that.
Take that belt up and you elevate it up.
I would be in favor of that.
And that way you got no problems.
What about the women's? Because you have two AEW women's championships. Do you
put one of them on? You take the AEW women's title. You put that on the TNT show. The TBS title remains on TBS.
Okay. My only issue is Jade is holding that one. I want her on that show though, because I know the exposure is going to be is going to be crazy if CM Punk.
Well, and there's rumors right now going around that there's possibility Mercedes Moné could show up in AEW at some point, which would be a huge get for them.
What's funny is I read something today. It was she has like one more match on her New Japan deal, so apparently she didn't sign a long contract.
No, and they're trying to talk about something with her right now.
Yeah.
So if it happens, so some people are like, "Oh, well, I think she's going to go back to WWE." Why the hell would she do that?
No, she's on fire right now.
She's not going to do that.
Yeah.
And at some point, you're going to probably end up seeing Trinity Fatu as well. The former Naomi show up in AEW as well. I could see them coming in together.
I could see that too. Another interesting thing that happened too, Becky Lynch just blacked out all her shit and removed it's just going by Rebecca Quinn.
Yeah, I don't really. I think that's all it work.
I think that's a word too.
Her contract, from what I read, her contract is up until 24, so she ain't going.
What about Bayley?
Not sure what's going on with Bayley. Bayley might just be taking some time off.
Yeah, interesting times.
Yeah. But I just kind of find it funny that the elite supposedly said they don't want to work with Punk. And I'm like, so y'all don't want to draw money. Or are you afraid because you know that if you get in the ring with CM Punk, you're going to have to step up your game. And you know for a fact that when it comes to promos on the mic, he's bury you.
Yeah, he's going to bury you.
He's going to blast you. And that's what it is. So Tony Khan needs to basically should step up and basically be
that's pretty telling. That's pretty telling. Because you know CM Punk's gonna drop some bombs on their ass if he has to promo against them.
Well, exactly. And it's like at the same time, listen, They were going behind saying a bunch of shit, supposedly. That's what started this whole thing to begin with, was them running their mouth, supposedly,
right
to the dirt sheets. This is
right.
what started this whole thing.
Right.
So we're at this point now where Tony Khan is like, listen, let's let bygones be bygones. I still got this guy. This guy's a draw, obviously, because they're not doing nothing without him. Bring him back and let's make some money and let's do this thing. You got this big stadium show coming up in Wembley. You got to do something with that. You got Forbidden Door coming. CM Punk wasn't a part of Forbidden Door last year.
Right.
He wants to be a part of it this year.
And he's healthy.
Okay.
And you can get him in there with Tanahashi.
And I'm sorry. The Elite, they are not as big of superstars as CM Punk.
They're not. That's true. And they gotta eat that though.
I said this a while ago, and I don't understand why people don't, either people don't listen or they don't agree with this, but it's the truth. No one gave a shit about the Elite until they joined the Bullet Club. And when the Bullet Club was hot is when they were over, okay?
True.
That's when they were really over. And if you look at it now, the cool factor for them was the Bullet Club. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
The two suites, the crotch chops, the homages to the NWO, DX, whatever. That was what people were looking at. That's what people wanted to see. They came at a time when that thing was really hot. And now you look at it from at this point, what have they done? Have they been over to that point again? No, they have not been. No. And I'm not knocking them. It's just the truth.
No,
like if you want to be real about it, like I said, that's when they were the most over. The only person, and I will say this right now, begrudgingly, we'll say this. The only person out of that faction that's super mega over right now is Cody.
Fact.
Period. I have to even admit that. He's the most one to be. I look at Cody and I thought to myself the other night, Cody is on the verge right now. If they keep this push that he's got going right now, Cody is on the verge. He could be Hulk Hogan.
That's so fucking funny you said that.
Yeah.
That's so fucking funny you said that.
His babyface run, if they keep it going and this just the American Nightmare and this white meat all-American babyface. Oh yeah. I was thinking to myself, this guy can be the modern day Hogan. And when he finally turns,
I told you.
Oh my God, when he finally turns.
I told you.
That
they're setting this shit up. The handshaking with the babies, kissing the babies, giving the belts away. Like they've been setting that shit up.
I'd love to see if there's one person out there that I think could resurrect the NWO black and white.
No,
it's Cody.
No,
it's Cody.
No.
Oh yeah,
I'm not going that fucking far.
Oh yeah, I'm saying that.
I'm not saying going that.
If you can bring back the LWO, and as we've seen right now, that shit is fucking garbage. What they're doing with that.
I'm not even going that far, bro. Like that's
going that far.
That's sacred ground. That's sacred ground. And if they let
it's sacred
Cody,
ground.
Yeah. NWO is that's sacred. That's
WWE
like
trademark, man.
I know, but for a fan, like for an NWO fan, that's sacred ground, man. Like you gonna really give this shit to Cody?
Yeah, I would.
You would. I can't believe what the fuck I'm hearing right now.
Yeah, I would. You know why? Because I know that it's going to sell a shit ton of t-shirts.
Well, yeah, of course. It sells itself. But you are willing to let Cody Rhodes resurrect and command the New World Order.
Yeah.
Okay.
I sure would.
All right.
I mean, his daddy did it, so why not?
His dad was a member.
Dad was a member. His dad worked behind the scenes there with the NWO and WCW. I mean, Cody is NWO royalty, man. It's already been in the Bullet Club. You remember that black and white? You remember that black and white video Bullet Club did a few years ago? That NWO style video they did.
Yeah.
You remember how Cody looked in the black and white? Watch.
Fuck the revival.
Watch. It can happen. He would be the only person to do it. I'm not sure who the other members would be, but that would be a big deal.
I'm pretty sure he could pull it off with anybody.
He could.
I'm just in awe that you came up with this. Because this is in my head, but your head, I
came up with it because here's the thing. I said what I said about Cody. I meant it. I said he ain't the guy to beat Roman. I meant that. He ain't the guy to beat Roman because I felt that he had earned it. That's what I said. He just came in. He was gone. He only had a few matches with Seth. He was gone with the pec injury. He hadn't earned it. That was my whole point.
I think we agreed on that.
If he earns it, and then later on down the line he was to get it, yeah. But the way I would do it would be this. All right. Cody finally got the belt, and then Cody says, "Screw you, and screw the WWE. You know, we're gonna do this same. We're gonna do this my way. We're taking this shit over, and that's how I would go with it. NWO story writes itself.
Yeah,
it writes itself. Right. You know what I'm saying? And it'll be something because people are like, oh, well, you know, they brought the LWO back. How can they bring the NWO? You should have seen the hate comments for the LWO. It's like crazy. But I'm like, okay, if they were to bring the NWO back, the black and white, right? We tried this in 2002. Why didn't it work? Well, it didn't work because number one, the guys were older then. Okay, number two, you had some unwilling participants, Stone Cold. You know, so that's why it didn't work. But if they were to do it now, I'm sure Kevin Nash and Hogan would love it because they get the residuals off the t-shirts.
Know they'd say yes.
And Scott Hall's family gets residuals off the merch. So bottom line is that I think Cody would be perfect to lead the NWO revolution. It would be fresh. We haven't seen a black and white NWO as far as a stable since 2002.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it would work. I think if they get down to like you watch AEW, you got the Outcasts out there spray painting people. Where the hell did they get that idea from?
No, they said they took that from the NWO.
Yeah, exactly. So you look at the WWE and Triple H and all these guys, and you know how it is. Like, well, we really can't really do because the way things are right now, we really can't really do this DX suck it thing. But we could do this NWO thing. We could get away with that. That's a little bit safer. We can spray paint people and all types of shit. So I'm for one, if I was on the creative team, I would actually, you want a group to come. You
want to slow draw that out though.
Well, yeah,
and you want to slow draw that out.
Yeah, I would slow draw it out, and I would have it. I would have this thing going. If it was me, I'd have it going by Survivor Series
this year.
War Games.
War Games would make more sense because that's
Bloodline versus NWO.
That's his dad's creation.
Yep, Bloodline versus NWO.
I think that would make sense if they do a War Games and he's in it. Yeah,
because Cody. Because listen, to me, when I look at Cody reminds me. In some aspects of what he's doing, Cody reminds me of Hollywood Hogan. With the weight belt and the gear, the tights and the boots and shit that he wears, he's trying to be Hogan. And I don't think people are catching on to this shit. Like he's trying to be Hollywood. But he ain't there yet. He wants to be this all-American white meat babyface, and I'm telling you. Because I'm just sitting here admitting this right now. People love this guy, and I'm telling you, when Cody turns, it's going to be a big fucking deal when he finally turns. But if he was to turn and was to turn the right way,
I think you need to draw this out like next year. Like I think what you're saying, it sounds great. And it makes a lot of sense. I don't think this year is the year to do it, though. I think you gotta draw this shit out. Like,
you could do it at WrestleMania 40.
You could, you could.
WrestleMania 40 could go off the air with Cody and let's just put it like this.
Cody screwing Roman.
Or if Roman's champion by then.
Oh yeah, if he's a champion.
Cody's screwing somebody
out of the
getting the belt. What if sometime between now and then, let's just say they were to resurrect the big gold belt. Bring that back, right?
Yeah.
Could you imagine the heat they would get if Cody was to pull out a can of black paint and paint that fucking belt? The belt that he said that he wanted all of a sudden, he was doing it for his dad.
Yeah.
And basically say, oh, screw the dream. I wasn't doing it for the dream. I was doing it for me. And spray paint that belt.
That would be mega heat.
Yeah. Spray out just
but you gotta draw it, because if you just do it, if you do it in a way to where like he's not built up to that, I don't see it going well. But if you build up to that and that payoff is like him starting that shit, oh yeah, I can definitely see him garnering major heat.
And honestly, I think if they were to do that, I think that I would dare say it would probably be as big as it was before the first time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you gotta build up to that, because he does have the capability to be that star.
But that's just fantasy booking right now.
That's
just fantasy booking.
But I like it. I like
it. That's what I would do if I was doing creative. I'm like, okay, look,
I like that idea.
We own this intellectual property, NWO. There are a lot of NWO fans out there still. People come to, you look at the damn crowd out there every week. You look at the shirts they're wearing. And if it ain't We the Ones, it's NWO.
Yeah.
Black and white, red and black, whatever. Let's do something.
Or if it's not either of those two, it's Cody shit.
Right.
So I agree with that. Definitely agree with that. Let's stay in this lane for a little bit, this creative lane, because it was confirmed Triple H is the head of creative at WWE. There was an email that Vince sent to the entire company saying that Triple H is the head of creative.
Mm-hmm.
Furthermore, it has come out that the Triple H era in creative is officially supposed to start with the WWE draft. My question to you: what the fuck happened last year? So was he not the head of creative last year? Was this?
I believe that he was made chief content officer by Vince before he retired. And I remember that Nick Khan and Stephanie McMahon were co CEOs or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're talking about. The Triple H era begins at the WWE draft, unless they're talking about because Vince no longer owns the company. It's a new day now. I don't get that. I think what it was they were hearing the ramblings from probably the inside about a lot of people were not happy about what was going down.
Bait and switch.
So Nick Khan talked to Vince and said, "Hey, can you please just send an email out saying that even though at the end of the day, Vince, it don't matter. It's your show,
right?
We all know this, but can you just send an email saying that Paul is the head of creative? Let's just calm this shit down."
Yeah, it still doesn't make sense.
If you people actually believe that Vince McMahon is completely out of the picture creatively for the WWE, the company that this man built, all right, he is just going to turn it over, even though he sold it, but he still has power. That he's just going to just say, I'm just going to go walk away from my baby. I'm going to let my son-in-law run it, and I'm not going to have anything to say about it, right? You are delusional. That's not going to happen. It didn't happen the entire time he was quote-unquote retired.
That's what gets me. That's what gets me.
He never stopped running shit. It's always been there. Like what?
But that's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't make sense.
And it's like people praise Triple H as like he's this creative genius. I'm sorry, I don't see it. You have Triple H has been the guy creatively, right? Been creatively running this shit. Guess what? The Bloodline storyline started when Vince was on creative.
This is true.
When Vince was running creative, right?
This is true.
That's when it started. All right. So what the hell are y'all talking about? Y'all talking about this storyline is the greatest, but Vince is the one who was there when it was going down. When this whole thing started. When Roman came back and he did the okay for Roman to turn heel, and they did that segment on SmackDown where the camera panned out and Paul Heyman sitting right next to Roman. Like, oh shit, what's going on here? Because they changed it up now. Yep. Whose idea was that? Who's the change of character here? Vince. So when you sit up there and say, oh my God, they were giving Jay Uso, main event Jay, he was on Vince.
That's Vince.
Oh, the whole thing with the Usos, Vince. This is all Vince McMahon.
Yeah, that's definitely.
That's why I don't understand what people are talking about here. Vince has never walked away. Like the disdain that people have for Vince for whatever, and I'm like, this is what I said last week on this show. Like Vince gave you your childhood. Vince was responsible for this shit. He gave you, Hulk Hogan. Mm-hmm. He gave you Randy Savage. He gave you the Ultimate Warrior. He gave you Jake the Snake Roberts. He gave you the Demolitions. He gave you the Texas Tornadoes, the model Rick Martel's, the $1 Million Mans, the Undertakers, Kanes, the Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. All these different cats. He did all that. So you mean to tell me that people try to make this guy to be like an idiot? This supposed idiot that don't know anything, he's out of touch, built a fucking empire. What are you talking about?
Bought that shit for $1 million.
Bought that shit for $1 million. Is that exactly built an empire?
Like you couldn't tell me shit after that. Like for real, you can't tell me shit.
Empire. Built an empire.
Fuck your feelings.
And he went against all these different promoters. All these different promoters back in the day. And you had the AWA. You had, Phil Munchnick. You had all these different guys. All these guys. You had all these different promoters around the country that Vince stomped them all out.
Beat them all.
Did it all on his own.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, I'm sorry, not Phil Munchnick, Sam Munchnick. Beat them all. Completely just obliterated and destroyed him. Made it his own.
Yeah.
That's what Vince did. So when I hear people talk shit about Vince and Vince this and that, like, what are y'all talking about? This guy here, I mean Triple H, what has Triple H done that's so creative that it's just like, oh my God, that's like must see? Nothing. I dare you just show me something other than what's going on here with the Bloodline, which is a collective. I guarantee you, and I'm not even a fan of this fucking guy, but I guarantee you, Paul Heyman has a lot more to do with that story than Triple H.
Yeah, that's the way the story plays out is the Paul Heyman story.
Exactly.
If you watch ECW, this is playing out exactly.
Well, exactly. So that's what I'm saying here. I'm not going to discredit Triple H. Triple H doesn't have anything to do with it. That would be stupid. What I'm saying is that Vince McMahon is the creative genius. McMahon is the one who built the fucking empire, and people need to understand that. All of a sudden, this hate for Vince, like for what? Because Vince, for what? Because Vince did what a bunch of motherfuckers doing right now.
Yeah, no, the shit that got me about the whole thing was, okay, so y'all announced this shit last year that this was going to be Triple H's,
right?
And then, of course, when the company got sold, it was okay. I won't be in the weeds as I normally am, but the final power is going to come to me creatively. So, and then we get, okay, the Triple H era is officially going to start with the draft. I'm like, well, that's not true because You mean to tell me Vince is gonna change his mind on being head of like the final say so for creative?
That's
No.
what I'm saying, bruh.
No, he is not gonna change his mind.
That's what I'm saying. What, like, I mean, people, let's not be gullible here. Vince is
I was like, that
in
report
control.
that report was some bullshit. Y'all know that. y'all know Vince ain't giving up control.
The man is in control. He's always been in control, and he will always be in control.
Yeah, exactly.
Even making Nick Khan the president, he's still in control.
Yeah. Well, he's Nick Khan's boss still. Like, that's what people don't understand. Like, Nick Khan and Dana White, Vince McMahon is now both their fucking bosses.
Exactly.
That needs to be understood. He is both of their bosses. So, in the grand scheme of things,
people don't understand that.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, like both UFC and WWE, like this motherfucker did a power move, bro. He was like, okay, y'all gonna think I'm giving up control of my shit, but in reality, I own, like, this motherfucker might as well be doing this shit again. Like, it's all mine.
Right.
It's all in the power of my hands. Like, the man is a genius.
It is genius, and I don't understand that. That's why I don't understand that.
The man is a genius.
If Triple H is a creative genius, and that means that Bad Bunny is a good singer, we know that's bullshit.
That's funny. Oh shit! What else do we want to get into tonight?
Man, I don't fucking know. We know we have ideas that we have, and then we like come on here and just shoot the shit.
Oh, you know what?
What's up?
I ended up going to I think this might be a thing, MPX.
Okay.
This might be a thing for me. So they have a local promotion here. And they run every Saturday night, and different people come in. So the Saturday before I went, they had Abaddon, Chris Bay from the Bullet Club, and they were in the building. And then they do the normal wrestling events. And now they have another promotion, Lone Star Wrestling, out here as well. That it's a brand new promotion, but Tim Storm and Nick Aldis are a part of it.
Okay.
And just some interesting shit, but it's like right around the corner from my house, and I just went to check it out because I had done cleaning and did all my little to-do shit, and I was like, I got a couple hours, so I went and watched the shows. Actually, it's a very good promotion. They have very good wrestlers there that I wanna start getting to know more. So MPX, man, shout out to y'all. And Athena is a very big part of MPX. So
oh, good. I'm glad. Athena is another one that is one of the top female wrestlers in the country, and I'm glad that she's doing her thing.
Yeah.
Wish she could do her thing more.
Definitely. Because I like that she's the ROH champion, but with ROH being on Honor Club and them,
it doesn't
get the justice it should. Which, by the way, with this new Collision shit, like, why do we have an ROH? If this is all going to be a soft brand split, like, why do we have all these different fucking things? So we have Dynamite. Well, first and foremost, we have Dark, Elevation, Dark, Dynamite, ROH, Rampage, and then now we're gonna have Collision. Like, some of these shits need to go.
Yeah. But you were just the one last week talking about how they put out too much product for Star Wars, and look at this shit.
This is excessive.
Yeah.
This is excessive. I mean, granted, WWE has a lot of shit that you don't really pay attention to, but it's WWE. They can fucking get away with this shit. Like AEW, y'all need to grow. Like I'm now on the you need to grow bandwagon. Like you have too many people there that you're not showcasing.
They have their niche audience, which is about 900,000. Yep. That's their hardcore. That's their limit. That's going to watch their product.
Yep.
And even with the new show, which I hope is a success for them, even with the new show, and even with CM Punk coming back, you still got to rebuild that situation. You still got to rebuild that brand to bring those people back to watch that show, because people don't like the way it was handled to begin with. They don't like the fact that you kept Punk off TV, and they don't like the fact that you almost insulted their intelligence by acting like it didn't happen. And
by the time he comes back, he would have been out for damn near 11 months.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a long fucking time. So
yeah.
It's weird, man. And and then you got the people. So I'm really curious to see who wants to work with him and who doesn't. Because you know who doesn't.
You know, let me tell you something about that. So if I, Frank D, was running a company, and you know what? I'm going to take the shades off for this one.
You about to get some real shit.
Yeah. So I got this cat here, but I'm paying all his money too, right? And I'm paying y'all a bunch of money. And you're going to dictate to me who you don't want to work with? No. I am the fucking boss. I tell you who you're going to work with. And that's just plain and simple. And if you don't like it, I'll either bench you and put you on AEW Dark or whatever. But you're not going to dictate to me who you are going to work with and who you're not going to work with. That's up to me, because I'm the one paying you. You don't tell me what to do. I'm the promoter. I'm the boss. That's the problem that they have there. You don't respect the boss. We can be friends.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, at the end of the day, I'm the boss. What I say goes. I have the final say. So, Elite, you don't want to work with Punk. Okay. Well, as Wade Barrett would say back in the day, I think I have some bad news. Because you're going to work with Punk and FTR, because at the end of the day, I'm going to recoup some of this money that I've, spent on your asses.
Yeah.
That I don't feel that I've gotten back. Because the bottom line is, this guy over here, CM Punk, is the one who drew $1 million houses. Who drew
haven't had $1 million house since he's been gone.
Exactly. So I am making a decision. I'm going to be the Vince McMahon around here and tell you who you're working with, and that's it.
That right there, that last sentence is what I think Tony Khan is afraid of. He does not want to be Vince McMahon, but he has to be.
Oh, if he don't want to do it, you can hire Frank D, and Frank D will do it. I'll put the foot down.
But that's exactly what the case is. Like, he doesn't want to be that guy.
These problems did not happen.
No, not under Vince's watch. No,
doesn't happen.
No.
Would not happen.
No.
Okay.
Your ass will be gone.
Tony Khan can say all damn day long, you can knock the WCW all day, brother. Guess what? You have never reached that success. Okay. All you've reached so far is this. You have egomaniacs running wild around there. You have the prisoners running the asylum, is what you got going on.
Yep.
That's kind of the same thing happened with Bischoff. When Bischoff was wanting to be everybody's buddy.
You got to bite that bullet, man.
Bite the bullet and be the man. And I hope that he gets it. I hope that he gets it together. I really would like to see AEW survive. It's good that they're around. It's good for the guys and gals to have a job. It's good for them to have different places to work. It's good for the fans to have a different place, a different brand of entertainment to watch. That's all good. That's all good and great. But what I don't like is I don't like all these issues that's going on behind the scenes being brought to the forefront, because it takes away from the talent and all the stories that they're trying to tell in the ring. It makes the company look like this, this just high school bullshit that's going on over there. It's not,
it does?
Not professional.
Yeah.
Like the WWE.
You know what it does?
What's that?
It validates everything CM Punk was talking about in that media scrum.
Well, it validates and it also validates that WWE is the place to be. At one time, people thought AEW was the place to be.
Yeah.
But now it's showing you that, okay, it's the place to be, because look at all the issues going on right now.
Yeah.
All the crap that's going on right now at AEW, that we never had these issues in TNA. You didn't have these issues in WWE. You had these issues in WCW when people would want to pull their creative control, but not to the point where it got to a physicality situation. The only time I remember something, and there were fights in WCW.
Yeah.
You had the Sid Vicious, Arn Anderson. You had the Vader, Paul Orndorff. You had the Kevin Nash, Roddy Piper. When Nash slapped the shot of Piper and punked him. All that stuff that happened. Yep. You had these things happening, but it's not to the extent where someone goes on a media scrum and just calls out the bullshit, calls out.
Like, I'm throwing all you motherfuckers under the bus today.
Exactly.
Yeah. That shit was unheard of.
And some people were talking about, well, Punk, should apologize to the Elite. Apologize for what? If anything, they need to be apologizing to him, because they're the ones that were running their fucking mouths to their dirt sheets.
Yep.
That's what it was.
That's what set him off.
Exactly. They're running their mouths to the dirt sheets. Come on, man.
There's a decorum. There's a decorum that needs to be followed. And they didn't follow that shit. Why? Because to me, I felt like they had the power. They were in a position to where they really couldn't be touched about it. And he was just like, fuck that shit.
Right.
He was like, fuck that shit. I'm touching you. I can't fucking get what I want out of you, so I'm gonna touch you. I'm gonna throw all you fuckers under the bus.
I'm gonna say this real quick. I think this will be the last segment for tonight. It comes down to something that I saw the other day. I think I was on Reddit, and they were talking about Hook and Dominic Mysterio and MJF, and they were talking about basically how Dominic Mysterio has pretty much surpassed Hook.
Oh, he has,
and they kind of came around the same time a little bit, but he surpassed him, and then how Dominic gets true heel heat and MJF gets go away heat. So
this is true.
I don't know. I'm not really feeling MJF, to be honest.
You know what? And I've said this a while ago. His act, in which the last week, I hope he stays on the path that he was on starting last week, because last week he wasn't with the honky dory cheap heat shit. Like, he was really calling shit what it was last week, and I was like, okay, I like this shit. I hope he stays there, because there is where your heat is. But he was getting the cheap heat. And he was just saying shit to get a reaction out of people. And that worked in the beginning. And it worked up until about maybe a year ago. It started getting old, and it's like, okay, I need more out of him.
Yeah, because like it's the same thing. Like okay. Do you have anything that you can say that's of any merit, of any meaning? Right. I can't. It's funny because in the business, you have guys that do promos, and you can think back, like you can think about Dusty Rhodes and the Hard Times promo, right? Or anytime Ric Flair will be out there talking about, limousine riding, jet flying, Kiss Steven, wheeling dealing, Macho Man, thinking,
cup of coffee in the big time.
Exactly. Anything Scott Hall we'll say that was cool. The Rock, it doesn't matter.
They have stuff you could.
They have stuff that you can remember. I can't remember one damn thing. A promo that MJF has cut where I'm like, I can quote that motherfucker.
The only promo that comes to mind from MJF is the one he cut on William Regal. Mm-hmm. That is the promo that I remember. I remember him, and I was like, okay, but those moments don't happen often for him. Right? They don't. They're spaced out. And that's where the problem was. It's like you're not giving us anything. You're not giving us anything but, all right, I'm going to talk about you, and I'm going to make these fans boo, and then I'm going to go back to the back. And that worked up until the end of his feud with CM Punk. And then people saw, like, okay, you held your own against Punk. You even beat him in some cases. But a lot of the times, the substance wasn't there. You know what I
mean? I think he's been exposed.
Yeah. I think basically it's a
one trick pony.
It pretty much exposed him for being that. And then after that, it's like, okay, this is the same thing. I need more out of you. And I think we're getting to a point with MJF that he is starting to figure out, all right, I need to give them more, because the shit they did with the 4 pillars, was the shit that they're doing with them right now is actually pretty interesting. I like where they're going.
I just think that his title run has been very lackluster.
It has been.
It's not his fault.
No, it's not. It's not. And I think I hope that they're trying with this 4 pillar shit that they're doing with Sammy Guevara, Darby, and Jungle Boy. I hope they're bringing this in a direction to where it's like, okay, we have something credible here. Feud after feud after feud, we have something credible.
I would personally, to me, honestly, if it came down to which guy would be the guy,
it's Sammy Guevara
to get the championship. I kind of think that. I actually kind of think it would be Darby. Darby would be different.
I think Darby would be different. I also think for what I know a champion can be, I think that guy's Sammy Guevara.
But see, Sammy Guevara, and there's a story that can be told there too.
Yeah.
But see, Sammy Guevara, in order to get Sammy Guevara to that level, we need to start a story where Sammy Guevara is breaking away from the JAS.
I agree with that.
Getting away from
on his own.
So it's kind of the situation with the Bloodline storyline, except I think what should happen is that they should do a fatal 4-way match. And I think that Sammy Guevara would have the upset win and beat MJF for the championship. And then he comes out on Dynamite for the celebration. But then Chris Jericho hits him pretty much with the Judas effect and turns
the Randy Orton.
Exactly. And just
I like that.
How dare you, think you're the man. Basically just, turn him.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. But we got to get to that point. Because right now, him being a JAS lackey which he should never been. He should never have been.
He shouldn't have come back. Yeah, he
should never been.
But I understand why they did that is because he had heat on him already. Yeah. So they just like, fuck it, just come back.
Yeah, I think him and Tay, Tay Mello.
Yeah,
I think they are miscast in the JS.
Yeah, and it was because they had heat on them for getting married.
But they could have heat, but you don't have to be in this group. He's in the circle.
You don't. Yeah,
that's the thing, and it's just like they haven't done anything with the JAS to begin. I really kind of wish that.
I hate that shit because what you're talking about with him happened, right? And he did leave with a good amount of babyface.
He was made.
Imagine. Yeah, he was made.
And now it's
and then he got with Ty Mello. Yeah,
and it's like now it's like how do you expect people to take him seriously as like
because you put him back there,
and it's like you're just a Jericho like he has a break. It's kind of like how they ruined Daniel Garcia. Same situation where he broke away, and Garcia should have been put.
Garcia was made too.
He was made, and they just and it's like I wish Jericho would just go on his own with him and Hager as a unit and just let these other guys go and do their own thing.
Yeah.
It's better for him to not have this group, but this group work against him. It's what I think needs to happen. And Sammy Guevara, if they do this correctly, tell the story correctly, tell it from A, B to C, Sammy Guevara could be just as over as Jey Uso if they were to do it correctly.
Yeah, he could. He could.
But they're not going to do it right now. I can't take him as a champion when you're just Jericho's lackey, and that's all you've been.
They have to break him away. But what I'm saying is, from that, if he does leave them, he's championship material. Like the guy has everything to carry the company right now.
Yeah.
So that's just me. All right, man. Final thoughts. What we got?
Well, final thoughts are, have not forgotten, we are going to have this debate. Demolition versus the Road Warriors. We're going to have this debate. That's going to be coming up shortly. And so stay tuned for that. That's going to be a Patreon exclusive show. So if you're not on the Patreon, if you're listening to this right now on Spotify or any other platform out there, you're missing out. $3 a month. We shoot the entire Dat Filling podcast catalog. That includes all the podcasts. That includes all the music. That includes everything that we have out there. We are the shit. All right? We're the shit over here.
We are, actually.
So, bottom line, hit up Dat Filling podcast on Patreon. $3 gets you in. Come over here, interact with us. Also join the Facebook group. Interact. We're always on there. I'm up there putting shit up there 24/7, 365. You feel what I'm saying?
Same.
So how at your boy. Don't forget, help control the pet population. Have your pets spayed or neutered up in this biatch. And that's all I got, man.
All right, cool. So, like he mentioned, No Gimmicks Podcast Fan Group. There's the bracket, the greatest women's wrestler of all time, going on in that bracket. We're now in the Big 8. Some pretty interesting results so far. So the final four should be interesting. So if you want to get a part of that, come to the No Gimmicks Podcast Fan Group on Facebook. Join, vote, be a part of the conversations. Some of these conversations in the episode came straight from that group. What you got?
Check this out real quick.
Yep.
So this is from the Oh You Didn't Know podcast. This is Road Dogg saying this. Road Dogg says, Road Dogg doesn't think Cody Rhodes earned an undisputed WWE title win at WrestleMania. He says he came in and had no adversity. He went right through the Royal Rumble, right through everybody, and right to the champion. And so the argument can be made, if you give it to him now, did he earn it? So I was If the Road Dogg is saying
that's the general consensus.
That's all I was saying. He didn't earn it.
That's the general consensus. And me myself, I was like, I'm 50-50 on it. I didn't think he deserved it. Like, and that's why I was like, I'm not sure they pulled this trigger. If they do, that's a bold fucking move.
And real quick before we sign off here on No Gimmicks, so real quick, got some numbers here. So it says here that WWE for SummerSlam this year, which is going to be in Detroit, WWE has sold more than 32,000 tickets already for SummerSlam. And they said this being the largest day one sale for any stadium event in WWE history outside of WrestleMania. The event is under 4 months away. Plus, AEW has about, if I last checked, 50 or 55,000 pre-signups for
that's
their
monstrous
show. And it's going to basically 30 pounds to 600 pounds is what it's going for right now.
Yeah. That's a big number, specifically if even half of those people buy 2 tickets. That's crazy high.
So business is booming.
Yeah, it is booming. So shout out to both WWE and AEW for that shit. So.
Exactly. And shout out to Frank D for like talking about it.
Shout out to you too. I hate putting you over, but fuck. Stop doing shit to make me put you over.
You can't help but put Frank D over because Frank D is the man. You know what I'm saying? I'm the man.
Damn it, people. Stop putting this man in positions where I'm like, all right, that's good shit. I'm putting him over.
Yeah, you can't help it though, because you see Frank D, and Frank D looks like a superstar, baby.
On that note.
and Frank D can cut one hell of a promo. Next time, I'll cut one on you.
All right. Cool. All right. For us over here at No Gimmicks, a part of the DFPN, thank you guys for tuning in to the No Gimmicks episode 40. Up until next time, y'all have a good time, take care of each other, and enjoy the motherfucking wrestling.
Demolition is the shit.